All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Catfish Weekly, along with Lyle and Josh. I'm the Chad. Good to see you. What the heck? You got the
I don't
orange
want to
hand?
get that oil-based paint on my hands.
Oh, he's so sensitive, Lyle.
Wow.
Uh, how are you fellas doing tonight?
Good, man.
Oh, dude, it was
How
60 some
you
odd
doing?
degrees today. It was nice.
It'd be nice if you guys would send some of that up my way. It'd be pretty nice. We got to, I think, about 52, 54 today, but
You'll be there by the end of the week.
yeah, we were promised 54 yesterday, and I assure you that I don't think it got out of the low to mid 40s, and it rained all day long.
Well, yesterday they said we were supposed to be like 55 or 60 or something like that, but that came at midnight, and then it just dropped the rest of the day.
That's probably what happened to us.
We need rain. We get a sprinkle or something, but all the ponds are low and we need rain.
We've had plenty of rain, but
So you
we need
say.
more warmer temperatures is what we need. Not
Well,
hot temperatures, but
I
warm.
have to say we're going to have an 80-degree day at the end of the week.
Yeah,
Well,
that's not
lucky
good.
you.
That's not good because have you seen the tornado threat for the end of the week?
No, I'm just thinking how nice it'd be if the wind didn't blow for once in a while because the wind blows every friggin' day.
Well, yeah.
Yep, spring is coming or something. But even though spring is here, it started last Thursday. We're officially into spring. But
You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
sure.
I went fishing, met up with James Dockery the other day.
Did you
That's not it.
Josh, did you hear that?
I know we put that.
He went fishing.
We'll put that in the.
I
We'll
went
put that in the
fishing with
fiction. He
James
wrote that in the
Dockery.
book. We put it in the fiction
All
section.
right.
Went
Fine.
fishing with James Dockery the other day, and I had to tie an anchor rope onto his leg. The wind was so strong, I thought I was going to blow him away.
Oh man, you could have flown Dockery like a kite.
Poor
I
guy.
could have, but I was afraid my arm wouldn't let me pull him back down. I guess I could have hooked him onto a reel and reeled him up.
Dockery, he's 2 feet tall and 10 feet mean.
That is so true.
We had a great time together.
Good.
Fishing wasn't so good, but we had a ton of fun.
You know, we went out yesterday fishing, and me and my buddy Bill, and we caught 3. Nothing big or fancy, but we caught some, good eater size channel cats, and then a nice little blue cat. But it was just nice to be out and
Oh, yeah.
even though it was cold and rainy, it was just out there being able to enjoy the outdoors. So
That's
We went.
exactly.
My nephew's birthday party was yesterday, and when we got done, we were over in Harrisburg, which puts us not too far of a drive from Shawneetown, which means the Ohio River, and so that's close enough to drive across the bridge to Kentucky to get that Kentucky fuel instead of paying Illinois fuel tax. And
there you go.
so we went over there. Of course, we had to stop and look at the Ohio when we were over there. And John got out of the truck with me and looking at it. He had to throw some rocks in the river and everything else. He was having a good old time. So
Well,
That's right.
That's good.
I'll make a river rat out of him yet.
All right, real quick. Member for 38 months. We appreciate Mr. Danny Stone Outdoors.
Absolutely.
Danny did good last week. Top cat.
Oh yeah,
Fun show too for us.
it was. Got Crappy Day Darren, John Patrick Jr. Got MI6. What's up, Mike Irvin? Joe Buck 66. Mr. Bugman 22. Catch Fish with us. Rowdy Royal. Randy Swain. Member Mark from Catfish and Crappie. Hooks and Hammocks. Brewer Boys Outdoors. Schmieder of the Cedar. Dave Garshar. Northern View Outdoors. Pontoon Jody. Ooh. Mr. Fishing with Jeff Beal. Dustin Clark. He had a heck of a weekend. Let's see. Small Water Charters. Jersey. Burrito Catfishing Lady. Our buddy Buck Williams. Look, Mark's been a member for 47 months.
Wow. Thank you, Mark.
He's such a nice guy.
I don't know. I'm still upset with him after last Wednesday.
What'd he do?
I went through all the trouble making him mark a theme song like I made for you, and
Yeah.
he would not play it during the show, and Lyle wouldn't play it during Panfish Nation either.
No, I
Yeah.
would not.
It was a great song.
It's
A
an
very,
awesome song.
very well written, great song.
Yeah, it's just like Mark.
There's Miss Cindy Stokes, David
Oh,
Smith,
Mama Cindy.
V. Smith. Oh, hey, I'm down at the bottom already. It's weird. I kept scrolling. Let's see what's in my media. Is it in my media?
Yeah, I think so. It should be under background music.
Oh yeah.
Dave Funk says he got his 2025 fishing season kicked off with some big uns this last week, and I agree, he surely did.
Yeah, he posted a picture on my, when I post our little bitty ones, telling me I needed to come up to Hoover with that.
There's
I
some
don't know.
great fish off that lake.
I think the fish looked to be about 15, 16 pounds that he caught. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think that'll hit it.
I know better than that.
But boys,
I'm not
starting to
sure
see-
Dave Funk would post a picture of a 15-pound fish.
I would. 'Cause
Me too.
I'm tired of people telling me I don't fish. I had to, I was like, you know what? I'm
But you
posting
don't.
these and proving them. I don't fish near as much as I want to, but I
No.
get out every once in a while. So, but coming up very soon, and I believe some people have already started catching them. And I think with this show could actually be about a lot of different bait coming up, bait runs, but the great bait run is the one that happens right down here on the Mississippi, Ohio, and all the tributaries, and that's the skipjack run.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a fact.
That's the fun one.
Well, I mean, I know like the James River has the hickory shad, which is pretty much a lot like the skipjack herring. There's a lot of similarities to them. They're definitely differences. They're not the same fish, but yeah, but there's something to be said about going out and catching 2, 3, 4 at a time when they're 2 and 3 pound skipjacks going every which way. And if you've never experienced that, it's
That's
something
right.
special. It's fun.
That's fact. Greg Burgess has joined us.
What's up, Greg? Lance McCoo guy.
Jason
Jason
Lamb.
Lamb in stereo. I mean, there's something to said about when you're running multiple rods, even not just casting one. Like we go down to Bama sometimes, and we'll run 4 or 6 rods out the back, letting them drift back, catching them. There's something to be said about how exciting it is that you've got a rod bent over, and you're trying to reel them in, and you got another one going over, so you're trying to grab that one as well, and then you accidentally set it back down and it goes in the water, and the skipjack drag it out. What did I say that? Oh, too soon?
Jerry Hager has joined us. Welcome.
Oh, dear.
But this is a great time, especially when you look down at people going down there to Kentucky Lake, Kentucky Dam and fishing. I know there's a lot of people that like to go down there and fish for them this time of year. They're starting to run.
Does anybody know if Cumberland City is still open?
I never hear anybody talk about it. You've told me about that place, and I've never
Never.
Used to be a great place to go.
hear people talk about it. Yeah, I never hear people talk about it.
I had heard once that they had shut down that steam plant, but nobody can verify if it's running or not. And if it's not running, the shed won't be in there. And if the shed's not in there, the skipjack's will be.
Let's see. Let's Google it real quick. Is the still operating? Searching. It is not currently operating and is slated for retirement.
Oh,
The
It's
first
done.
unit closing by the end of 2026, and by the second by the end of 2028.
That's too bad.
Oh, was it a
Yep.
coal plant?
I don't know.
Oh,
Steam plant.
Yeah, I'll say this is a steam plant,
yeah.
also known as the Cumberland Fossil Plant.
Don't know about that. It used to be a great place to get skips.
So if there's anybody else that knows that area and knows anything about it, please let us know.
Welcome Hooks and Hammocks. How you doing there, Chris?
What do you mean you forgot to add Chad? What, to an invite? Oh God.
I read that and I was afraid to click on it. I didn't know what it meant.
The Great Bait Run is going to Walmart for some no, Chris.
God.
I'm with him on that one. The only thing good, the only thing salmon's fit to do is use it as bait, and it sure ain't fit to eat.
Oh, I love me some salmon.
Oh,
think
yeah,
it's
I
that
love
good
me
of
some
gravy.
salmon.
that's nasty.
What's up, Brian
like
B?
salmon.
Butterflies and Sunshine. You know, I love, like, right now, my freezer has been empty for probably about 2 months at least. I think I used about the last of it 2-3 months ago. But I've not yet ever got to make a trip down there to, like, Kentucky Dam where people catch it. We either go to Wheeler Dam, or we come up here to Meldal Dam at ours and catch them from the bank. But I'd love to be able to catch them like we do down at Wheeler up here on the Ohio from the boat, because that is just so much fun.
I'm wondering if you're going to see more people up at Kentucky and Barkley dams now that Alabama changed their rules up about
I
skipping.
can probably guarantee that.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
And honestly, I said it last year, and again, it's something I think Kentucky needs to watch the laws on and possibly put some better restrictions on ours, or we're going to be depleted like that as well. Because 500 a day is insane.
And that's just probably one person.
That's
per person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one person getting them. Just think of how many of them guys are taking that many out every day.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's,
Yeah.
you know, granted, they're coming up out of the Mississippi River into the Ohio, and then, you know, up those tributaries there for the Cumberland and the Tennessee River.
That's exactly right.
Where those are.
Here's
But
a great comment. We can't do that in Missouri.
No.
Although I don't find them as game fish. There's not much fight in them. At least
No,
the
but
ones
they're good eating fish.
they're okay. Yeah.
That's
Well,
kind of like crappie. I'll be honest. I don't find crappie fun to catch.
They're
I find them fun to eat.
That they are fun to eat.
Well, I mean, not to get off on a side tangent like we do, but
Really?
you know, with crappie, I think it's dependent on, you got to make it fun too. Like sitting there jigging, I'm not a huge fan, but trolling for them, love it.
See, now I like vertical jigging, like the bridge pylons.
Yeah.
Sit up there, tie up underneath the bridge, and just bounce, 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 and catch a bunch of them.
Yep. That's what we do at the docks. And it works.
And sometimes I've been known to smack the underside of the bridge. So
Really? We need a video of that.
there is a video of that.
Oh.
Doing your Dockery impersonation, huh?
It is in the it was in one of the gender reveal or the gender reveal challenge videos. So it's been going on 4 years ago, because John will be 4 in June. Christina and I were fishing underneath the bridge, and I smacked the underside of the bridge, and that was when that was fresh in everybody's mind about Dockery doing that. So I had to keep that in the video.
This is a good
fresh in my mind about Dockery.
This is a good point, talking about all those skipjack. Of how many of those do you think get soft and go, get wasted as well?
Oh, probably quite a few. I've got a freezer full right here that I'm questionable on. I'm not 100% that they're any good anymore.
How old are they?
they're not all that old, but when we had that ice storm back in January, the power was out for 48 hours.
Mm.
And so all the deep freezes out here in the garage were starting to make the little beep noise that they were getting over temperature.
Do you know what to do to maybe check that? Go fishing, dude. Take them and go fishing.
I know, right? I gave some. I took some up when I fished with Jerry Parker a few weeks ago, and I don't remember if it was mine or his that we caught fish on. So,
hey,
Paul Boyd.
They didn't stink, so they're probably all right. But
Sean T says, "Dang, Chadwick James is almost 4 already. That time flies."
Yeah, he's making me old in a hurry. I did see a while back that Danny Stone said when we get to Q&A party that he has a serious question. So for Danny Stone to have a serious question, I want to hear it. So
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm all about some question and answer here.
Yeah, lay it on us, big boy.
You ask the questions, and I'll find the answer for you.
All right, you got questions, I got answers.
So,
like Radio Shack.
While we're waiting on that, so for you guys, what is your favorite? I guess ways to fish for skipjack, and maybe what gear are you guys using for that?
My favorite is just a regular old GX2 medium action ugly stick, because then you beat the crap out of it down there on those rocks, and it doesn't. Ugly sticks don't care, can't break them. And now I spool up my spinning reel with 30-pound braid, and then I tie a little bitty tiny barrel swivel on that, and I pre-tie all my skipjack rigs, and I do them with 17-pound mono, and they've got usually 3 or 4 16th-ounce lead heads on there, and I just plug them on with curly tail grubs or tube grubs or whatever, and until I figure out what they're hitting on, I mix and match my colors. So I'll start off with a couple flashy and a couple not so flashy, and then you just watch and you see which one of those jigs is getting hit all the time, and you can start changing out to that color. And sometimes they want just pink jig heads with a white curly tail. Probably been my go-to more often than not, but we've had days it's cloudy that they want to switch to maybe a darker blue or green, something a little bit more natural colored. But
I just use any kind of cheap bass rod. They don't have to be nothing special because it don't take much to catch bass. Yeah. I watched Dockery catch them the other day. But the point is, 12 to 15-pound line is what I use, and usually monofilament because it's for bait. I don't spend a lot of money on that stuff. And I have used sabiki rigs with great success at certain times. Mm-hmm. But I prefer putting on small jigs and a Foley spoon on the very bottom. And
I have never caught a fish on a Foley spoon.
What?
I have never caught a fish on a Foley spoon. And people started telling me about them. I said, man, I got to try these. And I fought the hell out of those things. I've never caught a fish on those. I've never caught a fish on sabiki rig.
Really? I've had great success. Certain times they work really well. Other times you might as well have jigs on everything.
Yeah, I have zero confidence in a sabiki rig. And I've been out there throwing one with people tearing them up on them, right? To my left and right. But I don't.
Well, we'll get into that for a second here in just a second. But for me, it's, I love the shiny heinies. And that's kind of the way yeah, that's right. The Arky shiny heinies, love them. There's lots of different colors and stuff for those. And they really do well, with not very much overcast. That shine really reflects.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you can't go wrong with that pink jig head and white curly grubs. Now, for me, I've used the Foley spoons as well, but I'll usually use a bell sinker at the end of mine just for the weight. Now, unless I'm using like jig heads, where if I'm using 2 or 3, say 3 jig heads, I'll do 2 smaller ones and a larger jig head on the end. Because it helps when you're casting, keep it from knotting so much all the time. So you are I thought it said you are my shiny heiny, Chad.
That's what I thought it said at first too.
I really I was like, okay. We weren't going to tell everybody.
It's like okay, Keith's officially lost it. So
but Yeah, so different what I like the hand ties I was doing for a while were working very well too.
Oh
So I
yeah.
really like the solid white jigs that I was tying for skipjack. And I know Mike Greenwell, I made some for him, and he absolutely freaking loved them. And then I've never made any. He's asked for them a couple times, and then I've never made any more for him. So because I haven't tied jigs in a long time now. So
We need to do that one night. We keep talking about it.
yeah, I need to get
Yeah.
stuff set back up to
Do a
do that.
Saturday night jig tying thing again.
Yeah, we had great
Yeah.
success with that.
We usually
A
have
lot
a
of
good
people
time on
like
those.
it.
Well, and this is why I like the
Mhm.
ones that I was tying, because yes, the shiny heinies they do fall apart too
Mhm.
easy for me, and they're built that way by design, I'm sure, because think about it, if your jig falls apart and it's working, what are you going to do?
You're gonna buy another one.
You're going to buy more, and
Mm-hmm.
guess who sells those by the buttload? Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep going to Walmart, they're not really all that expensive. They'll keep getting your business over and over and
Yep.
over.
Here's a question for you about that. How
What?
many times do you go into Walmart after a shiny honey and not pick something else up while you're there?
There you go.
Hey, you
Yeah.
can't go in Walmart and not spend $100.
Well, it's rare.
Very rare. Did
I do
Annie
that at
answer
Harbor Freight and Menards too. So
I figured you had accounts them places.
no, I'd
So
be in trouble if I did.
that's true. So before I start that, you were saying what, Josh, that we were going to talk about?
What are you talking about?
You forgot about it, huh? We were we were talking about that, and you started bringing up. So let's talk about that in a second.
Oh, I was just talking about
Danny Stone.
Danny Stone's question, and then he put it in chat there. He was talking about the Lacey Act, and Chris from Hooks and Hammocks put a big explanation in chat there, real good explanation of the Lacey Act, and that act was updated, and I can't remember when it was updated. 2016ish, 2020, somewhere in there, and it to include live transportation of anything like deemed invasive.
Yes.
So the Lacey Act prohibits you. You could buy a Wells catfish from a pet shop to have in your aquarium, but now that they know that if those things get loose in our waterways and get a footing, that they'll take over. They'll damage the waterway. You can't even import those now.
Yeah.
Good.
So
I'm good with
with
that.
that though, it's more of live fish across state lines.
It's
Is what
mostly
it boils
live
down to.
fish across state lines, and it also covers fish taken illegally. And so, Danny's going back to Danny's question. He said that Parker put a post up. He showed a cooler full of skipjacks, and like any other time you put a picture up on Facebook, you're going to have some idiot come in there and decide to throw a fit about something. There's some people just ain't happy unless they got their finger hung up in a fan.
That's
So people spout off at the mouth about stuff that they don't know a whole lot about, and they try to look important, and that's probably what happened on Parker's post. So
Yeah.
I don't know who left the comment. I haven't seen it. And if they get butthurt, they get butthurt. So
You know
Yeah.
what? Jerry Parker is an upstanding guy, and so is Danny Stone. And ain't either one of them going to do anything illegal, immoral, or against any kind of standard that
But-
people would ever should say never anything about.
well, here Danny Stone will flat out tell you that the local game warden is one of his subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah,
And Parker knows a lot of the game wardens over there as well. I'm sure,
Absolutely.
without a doubt, that they keep an eye on his channel.
Yeah.
And if he's out there doing something illegal, then
no, I'm not. That's the least of my worries. Is
they're going to bust him for it. And I know he's not going to. So
Well,
Yeah.
to protect all of my skipjack here in Kentucky, I'm going to just send a message right now to the Kentucky DNR that no out-of-state fishing license should be allowed to take my skipjack back to their state, dead or alive, and they
Wow.
should
No,
all
I think
end up in
that's
my
not gonna
freezer.
go-
They should be confiscated and end up in my freezer.
I don't think
Careful
that's
what you
gonna
wish
make
for.
it
You're
work.
going to get people mailing you skipjack.
Hey, as
They'll
long
be
as,
good.
as long as they ain't
Oh
rotten, that'd be
my
one.
I was going to
God.
say, by the way the postal service is working anymore, they'll be good and rotten by the time they get to you. So,
Danny Stone, I wish I would be there for something like that for you, because
hello,
me and
man.
that man would have words, and it's no
He'd
different.
have
We
gone.
had
I'm going to
well,
tell you right now. He'd have gone swimming that day.
Absolutely.
He'd have
you
gone
know,
swimming.
Yep.
it's no different. We had a conversation with somebody on the bait shop a couple weeks ago, and it was actually an intriguing conversation, different thoughts, this and that. But at the end of the day, if Danny or Lyle or Josh, they buy a out-of-state Kentucky license, and they come over and they obey the Kentucky law, which says you're allowed to catch up to X amount of number, which I don't personally agree with. I think 500 a day for skipjack is way too much.
Yeah. Who wants to freeze
Personally.
and vacuum seal it many of them?
Yeah, personally, I just think it's too, well. I just think it's taking too much. Like Jody
It
said,
is
how much
taking
of those
too
are
much.
going to waste
That's
at the end of the day?
ridiculous.
But to me, if you bought your license, you came over, you fished legally, and you caught them legally, who am I to tell you what you can and cannot do with those?
That's right.
Right?
I got you. I'll tell you one thing though. I brought back from Cumberland City one year 565 because I'll never forget to fill the freezer up. That's a lot of vacuum and sealing and freezing them because I put them in vacuum sealed bags every night when we come in. And on the back of my truck, stretched the extension cord out back away from the motel and done that. That's a lot of work after you fished all day.
I bet.
And I cannot imagine why anybody would want that many. I had them for a year and a half or longer.
That's because you
And
don't
ended
fish.
up a guy needed some. He lost all his that he was selling out of his store and come out and bought all the old ones that I had. And I had some fresh ones. And he sold them out of his store because he just didn't have any. He lost them all. Freezer went bad. And he come out there and whatever I had left, he took. And I don't know. In fact, I'm not sure I didn't give them to him. But, you know.
There you go. What you like and what's legal is usually two different
That is correct. That is correct. But
it's not wrong.
If they would, I'm sure the Democrats made them laws down there, Chad, in Kentucky.
Say again. I'm sorry. Say again.
I'm sure Democrats made them laws, and if they was thinking correctly, they would have thought, well, if we make this a 50 fish limit, they'll use them in a couple of weeks, and they'll have to come back down here and spend more money, catch more fish.
Yeah. Now I'm not a fan. I'll be honest. Like what Alabama does, and I'm not a fan of, but I know why they did it. But from talking to some of the locals that go down there a lot, they shocked one portion of the one of the lakes that was dammed up down there, and they made the law for the entire thing, right? And
well, that's not the correct way to do that.
that's at least that's the story that I'm getting. Now, if that's not true, I don't know, but it makes sense that if that pool was being that decimated, I understand doing it for that, or they need to come up with at least something that works better for all of the things, right? But yeah, because these are resources that once they're decimated, they're likely not to come back like they were, So, or it may take a lot of years for it to happen, or you have a restriction put in place where it's not a 50 a day limit down there. It is 50 period, because used to they changed it. It was 100 possession limit with a 100 daily creel limit with a 200 possession limit is what it was prior to that. Now it's a 50 possession limit. That's it.
Yeah.
And they talked about putting a slot limit in it down there, but it didn't go through yet.
I don't know how they put a slot on skips as fast as they grow. You know what I mean?
That's what they were talking about doing, and I can't remember. It was between like so many inches. You were not allowed to keep any. I don't know if it was like 12 and 16 inches. You weren't allowed to keep any.
Oh,
So
God. Can you imagine having to take a bump board down there to?
you would, you would have to do that.
There's no way around it. You'd have to have a bump board.
Yeah, you would.
Because I know Lyle's fished around Wheeler and Wilson before, and those game wardens down there will meet people at the rope ramp and check people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they got. I've been on their boats. I tried to let me shoot video of their boats when Cindy was in that all women's tournament down there at that time. The guy was extremely nice, and my God, that boat was set up as good as any boat I ever seen in my life. But he said they couldn't give me permission to shoot video without getting permission from his higher ups.
Yeah.
But he did let me look around, and they got generators and printers and computers and all the amenities of home except AC.
Yeah, filming on there, it would probably never happen, but you'd run the risk of catching some sensitive information, a ticket laying somewhere.
Yeah.
Now you've got sensitive information that's on that video, and I
The guy
can
was
see why
excellent.
he would. I see why he'd do that. So
He told us, he said, "There's goes somebody speeding down through the no wait zone." He said, "Jump out, I gotta go."
yeah,
And he went and got him too, because you can see down Second Creek, you can see a long way down there. He's a fun guy.
Roger says if you're fishing, 50 a day is plenty. Absolutely. If you go out there in the morning, you catch 50, you better be set for the day, or you've had one awesome day, and I envy you. But I'm saying 50 and you're cut off. You need to make sure if you're going to places like this, you need to know exactly what the law is, because with those kind of changes, you think 50 a day or 100 possession limit, and you get caught with 100 in your cooler, and you're the only one there.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
You're in a world of hurt, because they're going to charge you per fish.
It'll be so much per fish, or
about $50 a fish.
Well, I was gonna say I don't remember what it was, but I remember I talked to Doc when they were talking about the whole slot limit, and when they had changed it to the 100, all that kind of stuff, and he was saying what the fine was at that time, and I was like, oh my God. So yeah, you gotta be very, very careful with that.
I know guys that got caught with frogs illegal before season, and it was so much per leg. I know guys that got caught with other things, turkeys, I believe it was, so much an ounce for that turkey.
Jeez, oh Pete.
It depends on who the judge is and where you're at and how up to speed they are on wildlife, and well, pretty much if they're in a good mood or not.
Let's see. Nubby says, and we talked about this beginning, Nubby, that this is different all over the place. What your run is right now for you guys out there? Yeah, the American and Hickory Shad. There's a 5 fish limit per person on the Cape Fear. So yeah,
Nubby, are them guys eating them things out there by you, or are they using them for bait? Because I know people do eat those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's see.
We were.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Christina and I were talking the other day about maybe going down to Kentucky Dam this weekend, and or Kentucky or Barkley, whichever one. I always end up at both. But
I was going to say they're not very far apart.
No, I mean they're 5-10 minutes apart. But thought about going down there, and we still might, but it's going to be dependent on the weather, because the Storm Prediction Center's already got stuff out for both Saturday and Sunday, looking like a real good potential of a severe weather outbreak right across our area. So if that's going to be the case, I don't really want to be standing down there at the bottom of Kentucky Dam when the tornado comes through.
No.
So.
Well, I know the other day both of those were pretty blown out right now. So, but I know this weekend I won't be able to do any kind of running because we talked about it. But maybe, depending on how Dee's feeling, the following weekend I may see about running down there for a day if she's doing okay.
Oh, you're the best.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
I'll let her know that you acted like you cared for once.
She is the favorite field.
Now she's the favorite field. Here we go.
Yeah, she always was. It's not just all of a sudden. It always is like that.
Oh God! All of a sudden tonight, you're the favorite Fields. Has never been that way. He said.
That's not what I
things change. Said.
Yeah. So
Danny
we were
says, Danny
Go ahead.
says a lot of people catch the skips to sell, but don't take care of them in buckets or just thrown in the bank for a long time and in the sun and no ice. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one, they better have a bait license, and they better have the proper license if they're coming to Kentucky and going, whatever state they're selling them in, because that's the other thing. I know people used to go down here to Tennessee, and are some of them guys that they've set out there day after day after day catching these skipjacks,
Mm-hmm.
and they run them up to Ohio, Indiana, wherever, right, Kentucky, and they're selling them to these bait shops for um, profit and stuff. So I definitely watch the skipjack when I buy them, because you can tell who has and who has not taken care of those fish, and throwing them in a bucket in the heat is not going to. They're not going to last very long.
Read that one, would you?
I just did, but yeah.
Yes.
I saw on Iron Chef one
Oh,
time they are making sushi wraps with gizzard shad.
Boy, J Dog.
Oh my God! I can't
Remember that.
imagine that.
J Dog probably he probably just heard that and was like, "Man, that's right up my alley." Woo!
That is
Ugh.
wild.
Ugh.
Ugh,
That's horrible.
that's
Yeah,
nasty.
well, if they taste like they smell, it is.
Ugh.
I'll have to ask Jason next time I see him. He
Real
would know.
that gets sold down there for crawfish bait. $40 gets you a 20-pound box.
There you go.
I haven't. Well, our owner of our bait shop, that one of the bait shops we go to where we usually bought them at because it was close, passed away last year. So they've, as far to my knowledge, they never reopened. So
Yeah.
at
She
that
was a real
time
nice
they were
lady, too.
yeah, she was a sweetheart.
That's too bad.
They were like selling them for either $8 or $9 a piece at that time.
Wow.
So, and that's cheap compared to some of the places that I
Mhm.
hear people talking $10, $11, $12
$12
a
a
piece.
fish or higher, depending. So
So
Holy
me,
crap!
me and my buddy Bill was talking about it over the weekend. And last year we went down. We were fishing that King of the Tennessee tournament, and him and his family decided they went down to Kentucky Dam, and I think they caught like 108 of them. So when you're talking at $8 a piece, that's an $800 trip, right? So
mhm.
it's worth it to go fill your freezer for the year to have that many skipjacks. $15.
Wow.
Oh,
What the hell happened? Oh yeah,
I don't know
15.
what you guys are doing. You're touching buttons. But when you're
Just one.
talking, say $10, so we're going to average them out at $10 a piece there, right? You go
Shanti
down and
says he
catch
didn't
100
pay
of
that
them.
unless he tried.
Got you. I believe in that. Yeah.
But you would be amazed, Shanti, around here, especially with the tournaments and stuff going on. You get a big tournament going
Mhm.
on, and they will not have a single bait in any bait store around, because there's people that don't have time to go down to the river and catch bait like that, or throw for shad, or go bluegill fishing even.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but I've been told if you can't find bait, that's what chicken is made for.
Yeah.
Thought you didn't like chicken as bait, Lyle.
I don't. I'm just saying. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that do.
We had to buy some skips at Monsters on the Ohio back in 2019. I couldn't get them to bite down there behind Kentucky or Barkley Dams, and I was out of time, and I was just like, I just got to buy. I bought 3 bags of them. So
I'll be honest. I've went down thinking, it's Wheeler Dam. I'll go down there and I'll catch 100 of them this morning, my first morning there. And we sit out there for hours and catch like 2 or 3.
we went a couple
You
years
know?
ago when we went to Wheeler. The first thing we did the first morning we were there was go down to try to catch some fresh bait. Now we brought skips with us. We brought frozen, but I
Yeah.
wanted fresh. We didn't get bite.
Well, that was one of my first lessons, is if I had any, take it with me, because you just don't know. And then
Mhm.
luckily, there's a store right up from the dam that sells some okay ones that we ended up buying. Now I've got other contacts if I ever need it. But
We ended up getting into we were back in the back of Second Creek and ended up getting in a mess of shad back there. So we were one throw and we were good on bait for the rest of the trip. So
There's
Well, I mean,
one thing about Wheeler. There's plenty of shad in there.
They were everywhere.
yeah. I tell you what, though, that's one thing I've loved about joining and finding everybody I have in this community, and it keeps my network keeps growing. Is the amount of people that I have that I can contact now when I go down there or something like that.
Mhm.
If I knowing Doc is a big help, but then his world's opened me up to even more people that fish it all the time that I can reach out to, that I've got their number or I got them on Facebook, and I can reach out and be like, dude, what is going on down here? Where can I find skipjack? And
Mhm.
if they're like, well, you're going to have to go to another lake sometimes, or hey, just come over here, you're not going to find them. Nobody
Yeah.
can find them right now. I got some I can give to you or sell you or something, So that helps.
Roger's in chat. I think because he was down there same time we were. I think he finally come up with some skips, if I remember right. Roger, if you did, let me know. Otherwise, I'm thinking
There you go.
enough.
And that's been the case before, and we didn't load up and go to Pickwick, but they were non-existent on Lake Wilson, where right there at Wheeler Dam, like we're used to, but they were on fire down at Pickwick, right below it, right? So sometimes you just gotta know the locals that know that they're either down lake or in another lake running better. Don't Lyle would highlight that one.
What's it say? Oh yeah, that's Lyle's kind of fishing right there.
But that's about the only one he can catch besides a bass.
Okay,
Mhm.
let's see what we got here. See which
Yeah.
one, man. And you're not seeing him throw a cast net. He's good. Parker on the hand threw on top of all my rods last year. True. That did happen. Yeah.
I tell you what, and I see Roger say too. I do love bait fishing. I just
Oh
get
yeah,
caught up
Bank
in
fishing?
taking too much time doing it.
bait.
Bait
Oh,
fishing.
bait fishing. Okay.
I love going out for like bluegill fishing and stuff like that, and I love crappie fishing. But something about skipjack, that's the most fun bait fishing I think that
Oh,
I have
absolutely.
ever done.
Absolutely. They're
I have said for years, if bass fishermen would ever learn how to skipjack, bass fishing tournaments as we know would be over. Skipjacks are a lot more fun to catch.
you know what's funny is one of my bucket list fish that I've always wanted to catch is a tarpon.
A what? A
A
tarpon?
tarpon. Yeah, my grandpa and I, we talked about it for years and years and years, and we never made it happen. And I regret that all the time, that we never took the time to make that happen. And one of these days, I am going to get down there and catch a tarpon, but I really want to get a picture with it, and I want to Photoshop Kentucky Dam in the back of that photo. Just to stir the
Get
crap.
out of here.
That'll do it.
White
White
bass are more
bass, are
fun
you
than
crazy?
You're crazy.
white bass are fun too, though.
I'm not saying they're not fun.
but they don't fight like no skipjack.
I'm telling
No,
you. So I think a lot of people here probably fish for skipjack from the bank, one rod or cast and retrieve. And they get, maybe 2 or 3 at a time, here and there. I'm telling you, when you are out in the middle, if you go down to Wheeler Dam and you find that current seam and you watch them fish come up, and you've got, like I said, D and I will go out there. We'll take 5 or 6 skipjack rods, and we'll use the rod holders in the back, and we will stagger them like lengthwise. And some of them I'll put agitator floats on,
Okay.
on as well. I love doing that. Thanks to Betty, Jean, and Brandon. They did. I saw them do that the very first time, and I was like, "What the hell are they doing?" I went and bought me a big old pack of them whenever next time I was down there. But when you're down there and you got that, and you've got your rods setting out there, and you see these skipjack just coming up the river, flopping everywhere on top of the water, and then all of a sudden you've got 2 or 3, 4 rods going down. It is insane fun. So when you've experienced that, you'll know why I'm like, no, there's nothing better than that.
Dan has joined us.
What's up, Goober Dan?
Welcome,
buddy.
buddy. Captain Morgan, 205.
Yeah, when they're on, like I said, when you're down there, I don't know. I've not been down to Kentucky Dam to fish for them, and I've never fished for them here on the Ohio for my boat. It's always been up by the dam because you can't get very close like you can down in Tennessee.
Well, Kentucky Dam, you're going to get your steps in for the day. I'll just tell you that right now.
Well, we
Yeah,
hit one.
you are walking up and down that concrete.
Well, Markland Dam here is the same way. The Markland Dam has a staircase that's about 200 steps.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like this. It's straight down, and it's like, oh my god, it's horrible. But again, if I can get them from the boat, it's just it's so much funner to have them to see your rods just bent over, and you see them coming up that river like that. It's so cool to watch just the porpoising out of the water, and then you're like, here they come,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like hot and heavy, and then the whole school passes you up. They go to the dam, and then all of a sudden you just turn around and you watch, right? And all of a sudden you see them come back down, and you're like, all right, here they go again, and then boom, 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 and then they go back downstream about a couple hundred yards, and then they turn around and they come right back for the dam. It's left and right. It's fun. I don't know, Roger, that I've ever seen anybody. I know Kevin fishes from
there's people out there with boats all the time.
Oh, I know Kevin fishes. He's always on the bank when I watch him. So
yeah,
I don't know.
You get people out there. You get people out there chasing skips. A lot of people out there catfishing more so than trying to bait fish. But you got to be careful back behind Kentucky Dam. There is a ton of stuff right under the surface of the water,
rocks and stuff,
rocks and concrete and stuff. And I did about $500 worth of fiberglass damage.
Oh wow!
One day.
That must not have been a very big hole.
It went down the side. It was just like somebody took a can opener down the side of the boat.
I wondered.
Went right alongside. It's in a blooper reel from probably 2018.
That's what happened to my buddy Ron Workman when him and Chris come over and fished the Jack and Dill tournament up at Canton we had that year. He hit an underwater buoy, and it ripped a section out of that Lund boat along the side about 4 foot long. And they took it over the bank, and I went and picked them up, and that Lund never sunk.
Wow.
Never sunk.
Damn. See, that's my worry about taking, because I think it'd be fun to go down there, because me and Bill was talking about that too, if you could take the boat down here and fish for them out of the boat. But I don't know that area. I've never been there, and that would worry me right there.
I tell you what, I've got that 1648 John boat now. I'd take it back behind there in a heartbeat. Obviously not when they're running all the gates. When they're running all the gates, you don't put a boat back there. You're a fool if you do. But
hey, I'm a fool.
But when they're running just about normal, yeah, I'd take that John boat out there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because we've talked about if we went down there, it'd be fun to try to fish too while we were down there, do some catfishing while we were there. But
well, you're there. I mean, if you're there,
the whole things, I was dragging baits back there that day.
Really?
Been a lot of current.
And there wasn't a whole lot of current that day. It was the middle of July. It was
by dead.
The water was real low, and there was basically no current. So I'm like, well, I'll drag baits, and tore my boat up. So there goes chalk up another reason why I didn't care for dragging baits for a long time. So.
But yeah, I'd rather be able to go launch my boat and catch them anywhere other than, like I said, Meldal Dam. At least it's a path, it's a zigzag path. You walk about a mile down the hill just to get there. It seems like, but Markland Dam, it's like what you're saying about Kentucky Dam. It is so steep and so many steps.
So many of them are like that too.
When there's no guardrail, it's a narrow concrete stair path that goes straight down, and you better not teeter totter because you're going off the side and you're falling about 5 feet from each side.
Matt, unless they've changed it, and it's possible that they changed it this year about the snagging behind Kentucky Dam. There's a certain time of year where you can only do it after dark. You have to quit before sunup. And over the winter, I think you could do it whenever. But they could have changed it, but I don't know. That's big business for them down there. I don't really see them doing it.
Snagging is prohibited under the US 62 bridge, under the P&L Railroad Bridge, and from
Yeah, you
any
can't do it under
fishing
the,
pier or jetty.
yeah, you can't do it under the bridges.
Well, as far as I know, in Missouri, you can dispose of Asian carp by any method for as long as you want.
Say, I got 2 snagging rods sitting right over here. So
Danny, did you have any other Q&A questions? Because since we're kind of good conversations, we're already at 8:51.
oh yeah,
So this night's flying along.
7:51 in God's time.
that's true. Now I think we're gonna. We were talking about it. I think we're going to take and if we don't go after skips, we may try to dodge raindrops and go maybe try to get some bluegills and start loading the bait tank back up. So
Yeah, I got that one setting out here that I brought that I've still never done anything with. I'd like to get set up. So why we got about 10 minutes left, fellas? So we've done a lot of talk about the fishing and stuff, but
fishing.
Fishing stuff.
I talk about fishing and stuff all the time. Mostly I make fun of him because he can't catch fish, but he does other stuff well.
I showed you what I had to make. I showed you my fishing and stuff thing I bought. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be awesome.
So what do you guys suggest as far as keeping your bait fresh, as far as when you catch it, getting it ready to take home, and then when you get it home, what are you doing to preserve that bait in your freezer?
Ours is like an assembly line process. When we're down there catching them, I'll go down and I'll just take a cooler with a bunch of ice in it to begin with, because water's heavy and there's plenty of water there when I start catching fish. But I will, once I get the first skip, I'll take and get me some water out of the river and dump it in that cooler, get the big slush going on, and dump a bunch of non-iodized salt, so kosher salt.
Yeah.
You can get it at dollar stores, cheap, and you get you a plastic container to keep it in, and but I'll dump a bunch of that in there and wish that all around, make a brine. I mean, we've talked about that I don't know how many times, but you make that brine and get those fish down there at the bottom of that thing as quick as you can. And I like what Lyle's talked about before, of putting them in there upside down. That way all that blood goes down to their spine. I might have to start doing that. But
Doing what again?
When you put them down in the cooler, and I'm sure Lyle will go over this when he talks about it, but he's talked about putting them upside down.
Okay. Yeah.
And that way all that blood, gravity's going to pull that down towards their spine and get all that down there. So,
yeah.
But we get, how much ice are we talking per salt?
A couple bags or cooler.
Couple of your regular 20-pound bags of ice probably, and then enough water in it to make it a slush. About like having a big old cooler full of ice water is what you're thinking of. And then I dump quite a bit of salt in there.
See, I don't say I dump quite a bit. I dump, I usually have like a cup or something. I'll do a few scoops of the salt into it.
In that cooler of mine, I probably dump a cup to cup and a half of salt.
I was going to say 2, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it depends on the cooler size you're using too, right?
So, it does. It definitely depends on the cooler size.
And remember, if you're packing that up that concrete steps, don't put too much ice in it. Don't put too much water in it, and don't put too many fish in, because you got to make it all the way to the top, or it's useless to go down there after.
I tell you what I like to do is have stuff. I like to have my big cooler up there in the bed of the truck.
Yep.
And usually I go with somebody, because if you go by yourself, it's hard to do this, because if you're catching fish and you walk away from your spot, I guarantee you when you come back, somebody's got your spot. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
You've got somebody you're fishing with, they can kind of police your area while one of you runs up to the truck. But we get done fishing, and I mean it's a straight trip back home. And usually I'll call ahead and give Christina a heads up, and she'll get the vacuum sealer out and start prepping bags. And we get home, we lay these things out, put paper towels out across the game table. The fish would go out, fish would get laid out on there for just a second. That paper towel kind of absorb a little bit of that moisture off of them. We wrap each fish individually with saran wrap, put it in the vacuum sealer bag, and suck that thing down. That way, but them being in saran wrap just helps buy you that extra little bit of time to keep moisture from getting in that thing and causing a bad seal. So
that's a great idea.
But then once they're sealed, we label them. Whatever it is. I mean, obviously you can see that they're skips, but we still write skips. We'll write the month and the year. That way we know when they were caught and when they were sealed. So.
Well, I like to put mine on ice with, it depends on what time of year, because most of the time I've been down there in the spring of the year, like now, with guys and caught bunches of them at Barkley and Kentucky Dam, and we hauled them back and took care of them and vacuum sealed them up and put them away. But most of the time when I was down there, Cumberland City was in the winter. We'd be there over New Year's weekend, and there'd be 60, 70 of us fill that motel up. And we would go down there and throw them on the bank or just put them in 5-gallon buckets so you could carry them up the hill. But I let them cool out before I put them in anything. You didn't need salt water brine or ice or anything. I mean, we're talking about cold weather.
Yeah.
But it's important that you let those fish cool out, whether you cool them out with salt water and ice or whether you just lay them on the ground when it's 0 out there, because when they freeze, it does damage to the internal parts, is what I've been told. And I got a big lecture about that on what goes on from a guy that really knew how to do it. He says, you got to cool them out before you stack them in that cooler. So that's what I done. And then I always turn them upside down, like Josh was saying, so the blood run down to the spine, because that's what holds the blood in the fish, the majority of it, the head and the spine. And put them in there like that, and then when you get home or motel or however you're doing it, vacuum sealing babies up and stack them in to where they're upside down in that cooler, just as close as you get them together, and then pour ice on the top of it, and you got room, make another row. And that's how I prepare mine. And I've had skipjacks that was 2 years old and older and still caught fish on. Now,
they'll hold up.
Are they as good as fresh? Maybe not. But there was a video that come out yesterday or today from a guy that alludes to the fact that you don't have to have fresh bait on. He caught a giant on old bait.
I'll say.
But I've caught as many fish or more on frozen bait, not necessarily old bait, but frozen bait, as I have fresh bait.
Yeah, I've definitely had year-old shad skipjack that we've had from the year before, early on the run, that we've caught more fish on than skipjack that we caught that same day down in Bama. So
Parker and I fished that winter blues of yours a few years ago up at Baldwin, and we both ran out of the fresh shad that we had caught, and we ran out of every fresh piece of bait that we had. And I was finally busting into frozen gizzard shad that I had vacuum sealed 2 years prior. We were still catching fish on them. They weren't mushy. Yeah. They were cutting good.
And that's the thing. If you get frozen bait of any kind, I don't care if it's skips or shad or bluegill or whatever it is, if they're mushy, they're not going to stay on your hook. So you might as well just throw them away, because they went bad on you. And shad is the worst. They will get mushy faster than anything I know. And you throw them out there, and you can reel your line back up.
Mushy all it's
jerk. But yeah, shad is the most quickest decay in the fish I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you can keep them alive in a bait tank if you have a good one in your boat. You can keep shad alive for a little while. That's as fresh as it gets, alive. I don't know. I never tried to do that with a skip.
Now I've done that. I've done it with shad in the like late fall, winter time.
Yeah, you
You
can't
can
do it
keep
in the
them in your
middle of
bait
summer.
tank easily.
Summertime, throw them on ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
They're going to die anyway.
You think
Like I
Moon Eye
said-
are quicker decayers? Huh? I don't know. I've seen.
I don't know about that.
Oh,
I'm a Moon Eye fan. If I can get Moon
No, I'm
Eye,
talking about
I'll throw
decaying
skipjack
faster than
away to
shad.
get Moon Eye.
I've had good luck freezing Moon Eye, and I know some people don't, but I have had good results freezing Moon Eye. But I do a totally different approach to them.
I never have frozen Moon Eye.
I get those home, and I lay them out on a cookie sheet that's lined with wax paper, and they go on a rack in the upright deep freeze over here, and I flash freeze them. And then as soon as they're frozen over, they get vacuum sealed, so they don't sit exposed to air for just long enough to freeze them, and that's it.
Yeah.
And but I like Moon Eye. I haven't.
Oh,
If you can get into Moon Eye, you know you're catching fish that day.
that's right.
And that's a fair point. What Roger clarified there is they're mush when you catch them.
They're a soft
They're
fish.
very soft.
Yeah, they're
I'm
fairly
talking about how fast it seems like if you get shad in say May, June, especially in the summer months, you better have that in a cooler quick because that bait is just going to turn to garbage within what seems like 20 minutes.
There's another thing about shad. They don't have much bone structure in their body. And what bone structure they have is really small. Where the other fish have bigger, stronger bones, and they'll take being frozen and thawed out. Where shad just ain't gonna do it. I mean, if you're gonna freeze shad and use it, you better use it within a week, and they better be bigger shad, not the small ones.
I'll say I'm not. I'll be honest. If it's a small shad, I'm not freezing it. It's not worth my time.
No, you're right. 100% correct.
If I'm going to freeze shad,
where do you draw the line on being a small shad?
Those under 5 inches. Like
Yeah,
honestly, if it's under 8 inches, I probably wouldn't freeze it. Now anything over that gets to be
See, I'll do the 4 to 6 inch shad and have good luck with them. But when you throw the net, you get those thousands of those little 2 inch ones.
Dump them out.
Dump them out. Feed the birds or something.
Me personally, like I said, 8 inches is about the start of freezing them, but stop it. Like Lyle, though, them big, nice 12 to 14 inches.
I saw a photo of Lyle earlier.
You saw one somebody produce, not an actual one.
That's pretty real to me.
To you guys the other day, a fish.
That is true. I did not see you holding said fish. I just saw a basket of fish. So
I have those pictures also. If you
like, sure you found it and stumbled upon somebody's fish basket.
It was very nice of Dockery to let him.
Dockery wasn't there that day.
Sure, here we go.
There's some kid wondered where their fish basket went that day.
The day that I met with Dockery, we give our fish that we caught that day to another guy. He was keeping them, and we wasn't. We was throwing them back. Yeah. And this guy was evidently wanting them, and he got.
I think we've got a bunch of shad over here in the one of the upright freezers. I had some left over. I don't remember what I had them left over from.
Here's a great question. Yeah, that's it. That's the
that
one
says, what about Creek Club? But I think it's about chub. I know they're better fresh, but has anybody figured out how to freeze them so they don't get mushy?
I've never froze them. I use them up real quick. I put them on ice immediately.
To me, those are kind of like
man, they're good bait.
Suckers up. When we go up to Mendota and stuff, they don't freeze. They don't freeze very well. But fresh,
I wondered if they would freeze or not. I've got got a coworker of mine who's got a creek runs through his property, and he's told me, he goes, we go out there and seine that creek. He goes, you can get all the creek chubs you want.
Well, last year when we went up to Mendota and we got ran out after 2 days because of the violent storms that came in, I had already bought several like medium and large suckers to fish with, and I wasn't going to waste them. We brought them home, and yeah, they didn't freeze very well personally.
Yeah.
Dustin Clark would like to know how Lyle prepares his chicken.
If I'm not
No
saying that I
trash.
don't, I just go to the store and buy it. There ain't no preparing it. If I'm going to take it and as a backup bait and pray to God that I don't ever have to use it where anybody could see it, I just would go to the store and buy it and throw it in the cooler.
With egg and flour.
There you go. That's good enough.
And get
Oh.
I say that I have fished with it. I've not had.
I have to, and
I don't have a lot of confidence. I don't have a lot of confidence in it unless I'm fishing over a mussel bed. And then I
have confidence that it'll catch fish, just not the fish that I'm.
Not the fish that I'm.
All I would see,
Now,
all I ever personally see anybody catch with it is small fish. Now, I know people catch big fish on. They say they do. They tell me they do. Send me pictures that they caught it on.
Now
I personally have never seen anybody catch anything but small fish on it. It's just, to me, it's like using stink bait.
You know what's funny? It made me think of this because I have done dump a bunch of garlic powder and some Kool-Aid or whatever on the chunked up piece of chicken thigh, and we've caught fish on it. But a few years ago, Christina and I were putting back shad. We were doing the vacuum seal for the fall, and we decided to actually, I think I started it out. I got me a packet of strawberry jello and dumped it in a bag with the shad, and I made strawberry jello. I made strawberry shad.
I remember that.
And Christina, as much as because she despises anything pumpkin spice.
I remember pumpkin spice.
She despises it. She made pumpkin spice shad, and we took those up to Rend Lake, and we did a challenge video with those things. And y'all had to go check it out, but we caught fish on both of them, and one did a hell of a lot better than the other. So it's on my channel. We'll go back and dig up that old video and put some life back in that one. It was a fun one to shoot. So
that reminds me, I've got I got to go to the store sometime. It's getting to be big bait season. I was watching a video the other day that Austin put out, Fishing Fever, and something he said, and I'd never thought about it, but I like it. As the bigger baits start running, like skipjack, and for them the American hickory shad, whatever they're called, and stuff like that. The bigger baits moving in is when he typically starts upsizing his baits. I was like, that's a pretty good philosophy to actually kind of think about, right? Same thing for us. The carp are getting more active. The skipjack are starting to run, et cetera, where before you didn't have that, right? So,
Roger, that's awesome. That is awesome.
He's smarter than he looks sometimes.
I just think you should offer Jerry Parker a slush sometime or a smoothie.
Double dog dare you.
Yes, telling this the best smoothie you'll
ever
drink.
Smoothie you'll ever taste in your life.
That would be fun. Please let me be there for that. Because that will be even better than the video of Parker putting up a tent. So
I don't know. That's pretty funny.
That was pretty
funny video.
But yeah. So I mean, it's good. It's good to live by there. But there is a chicken product that I've got plans for when it really becomes big bait time.
Maybe you could throw chicken in a blender and soak your skips in chicken puree.
Maybe. No, never gonna happen.
I don't believe I want to.
You guys got any more questions in the chat?
Let's see. If you fish with chicken, use gloves or wash your hands.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't ask me how I know.
Well, you can sure get ill
Oh,
from
man.
But this is definitely a fun time of year, man. And the waters are definitely livening up. This is a great time to prepare for your entire year. Get out there, catch skipjack, hickory shad. It's a good time for big shad right now too. You know,
Oh, Creole, we need to talk because it's not an appropriate subject for the show. But you and I need to talk.
I've got something because I had some stuff that I cooked up a while back, and I had one left over, and I'm like, man, I could so use this
Sanitizer in your
in a
bath?
video for Lyle. So
What's a bath?
sanitize in your bath.
In the bath?
I don't know why Roger's picturing us in a bath right now, but
I don't
that's
know, but
cool.
I ain't putting no alcohol hand sanitizer in the bath.
Nope.
And burn like
Yeah.
a fire.
I love inappropriate subjects. How well I know.
Man, I tried like hell to get Andrew DeFore to fall for one of my funny names in Danny Stone's live yesterday.
And he didn't?
No, because Andrew said he spent way too much time online gaming and he knows every one of those and he's not saying any of them. So
That's funny right there. I don't care who you are.
I had messaged Jeremy. I said, I'm trying like hell to get your brother to say something, but he would not do it.
Oh, bag. Sanitizer in your bag.
In your
Got
bag.
it.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Honestly, I am not a fan of hand sanitizer for various reasons, but after that infection that I got at the ice bowl, I'm kind of like way more leery than I was before.
I think there's times that hand sanitizer is a really good thing to have around. That being said, I think that the people who every time you turn around are coating themselves in it are doing more harm than good.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
but that's topic for a whole nother day.
Really? Didn't that have something to do with the Joe Biden administration?
Stan says I however fall for most all of those names.
Welcome,
I just
Stan.
feel bad doing
in
I
here.
feel bad doing that to Stan. I don't feel bad doing it to Danny Stone, but I feel bad doing that to Stan.
I honestly, nothing will ever beat, in my opinion, the day that we were all down there at Trail of Tears and Danny Stone was live, and I don't even remember the name that popped up on screen when he was over there by me.
Oxmall.
Yeah, Mr. Mike.
What, Lyle?
Mike.
What
was
it I said to him? I can't remember.
He said it wrong. He said it instead of saying Oxmall, he said Oxmells.
Oxmells.
And Chad goes, it smells.
You might want to go watch that.
I've got that clipped. I have to dig that one back up, but I've got that clipped.
That was hilarious. Cool Cats
man.
member Cool Cats Fishing. He says, I'm listening, can't chat right now. I am launching the boat.
Hey, there we go.
Good luck tonight.
We are hilarious. We try
to be. We try to be. That's just like,
that's a new name on us, I think. I don't think I've seen that one in chat.
Well, why don't you ever say hi to these people?
I have.
Did you say hi to Dixon?
No, I just now seen it.
Well, say hi to Dixon.
Hi, Dixon.
What are you laughing about?
I'm not laughing.
You can't even be respectful and say their full name. That's rude.
Lyle can't pronounce it is the problem.
I can pronounce it.
Come on,
well.
try it.
No.
Oh, he's gone off the rail.
We've had a great night.
It is. What about a dragon board this week?
We do not. I will have one next week. I've got submissions for this week that but I didn't touch a computer today. I was outside trying to get a bunch of stuff done. Our whole Well, about a third of our backyard is covered in straw right now. Christina and I spent all day Saturday raking it out, busting up the soil, and replanting grass. So,
Well, if it has to be one of us doing all that, I'm glad it's you.
I went out and overseeded it today, and then went back and forth with the sprinkler, got the whole thing washed in. I'll be in good shape.
Yeah,
Bink
sounds
Fox?
good.
And we both woke up Sunday morning realizing that we're not in our 20s anymore. And
Really?
yeah, and then stuff like that hurts. So
Yes, it does.
Is it next week? Not next week, Josh, that we're doing the drawing, is it?
not next. No, wait a minute. It would be next week.
Next week would be
No, wait a minute. No, it'd be the week
calendar?
after, because next week will be the 31st of March,
Okay, you're right.
because next Sunday is my birthday.
Really? Oh, by the way,
happy birthday early.
we had Brian B's birthday last Monday. We got Mr. Freddie from FOA Customs and Gear. His
Mhm.
birthday is today. So yeah,
Happy birthday, Freddie.
next weekend or next Monday is the 31st. So it'll be Monday, April 7th is when we will do the drawing for the next Top Cat.
And
So
then
if
the
you've not gotten
21st.
your name, make sure you go over to the Catfish Weekly group and drop your name on that, or email
Register at theweekendangler.com.
All right.
Or you could send, if you got me on Facebook, you send me a message, something like that. We try not to do that, but if I know you, I'll put you on the list. So
There you go. So make sure you
James
guys do that.
Dockery has
we're gonna
joined.
make it. We're gonna make
Yeah,
a conscription
yeah.
thing. I just ain't told nobody yet that if we don't have any signups, I'm just gonna randomly pick somebody. And then
Well,
they
right
got
there,
picked.
you have somebody for the April that wants in is Cool Cats
There
Fishing.
we go.
Go ahead and put him on that list.
Thanks,
Let's make
James.
sure,
Glad to see
make
you
sure
in.
James gets on there. James, good luck tonight, buddy.
Did you know that James Dockery comes in here right when we're getting ready to leave?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, are you surprised?
Well, yeah.
But so if Cool Cats gets it this time, we'll have bank fishermen, boat fishermen, bank fishermen.
Uh-huh.
He may be able to break the boat spell where boat fishermen can't catch fish in the Top Cat.
That's true. That's true.
And then he would have bragging rights over the other boat fishermen if he can at least catch one fish.
James had just got out of class. They had a meeting tonight of the Lollipop Guild. So
I'm sure something like that for sure.
Danny says, "Come try to knock me out of second place. I dare you."
oh,
Donald Knight. It's his Donald's birthday too. I didn't see anything, but I might have missed it. Well, happy birthday to whoever birthday it is.
Yeah, they're saying happy birthday, Donald. Happy birthday, Donald.
Happy birthday there, Donald Knight.
March
Creel
that's the best. March birthday's the best people.
Creel
Oh,
says I'll start signing up in May. We'll
Yeah,
fix
there we
the
go.
boat
It's gonna get real right there.
Yep, probably so. I had someone ask me over the weekend about getting in that, and I said, "Well, can't. We're not allowed against the rules."
yeah, because I wanted to get in it because I knew I could win this. Looking at the competition that's already been had,
God.
and these guys were like, "No, we don't want to make everybody else feel bad. We don't want your professionalism in the fishing tournament."
I don't remember it being said quite like that. Do you, Josh?
I remember it being a little bit more vulgar than that, but
Whatever.
To
Ooh,
stand, did someone say second place? I'm going to have to accept that challenge. So jump on in there, big boy.
Bill, no, you know what? Nobody's asking your opinion right now, Bill. You think he'd be being nicer to me? I put him on all kinds of fish yesterday.
James Dockery and I do have a plan.
That's scary.
You think?
What? I mean, what's your all's plan? Shoe inserts so you guys can feel tall?
What?
On that note, I hope everybody has a great week.
yeah. Have a great week, everybody.
We will see you next Monday night right here. And over on Panfish Nation on Wednesday, and we'll have we planning on having the bait shop on Thursday night, assuming everything goes well with D on Wednesday. So you guys could keep her in your
Yeah.
thoughts and prayers. Appreciate that very,
Absolutely.
very much.
Absolutely.
With that, we will see you guys next week.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week.
Yep.